It's Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mantle. We have a great show in store for you today. First up, we're going to chat with Chief of Police Paul McDonald. We'll get grill safety tips with Centerville, Osterville, Marston's Mills Fire Chief Mike Wynn. And then we'll chat with DPW Director Dan Santos. All of that on this episode of Barnstable Today. But first, let's take a look at today's top headlines. School start times will again be discussed during this week's school committee meeting. The Advisory Committee on Start Time will present its recommendations. Also on the agenda, several students will be recognized as Superintendent Excellence Award winners. The school committee meets this Wednesday at 7 in the Town Hall hearing room. The Growth Management Department is teaming up with the Cape Cod Art Association to offer artists a unique retreat on Sandy Neck Beach.
Rehabbed the structure and now we're using it for nonprofit groups to come out here and use it as a base for either educational purposes. Certainly environmental education is a great use of it, and then these artist groups have been coming out for a number of years now, so it's sort of morphed into, I think it's always maintained the use requirement when it was initially given to the town. It's always had a really productive and constructive use. It's just sort of morphed into this new place, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. People love it coming out here. I hear about it for years and years after they come out and enjoy this place.
I was just talking to someone earlier, and they were saying their photographs aren't even capturing what it is that we're looking at. The colors just are amazing to stand here. And I always find that when I paint on location, when I'm working on the painting, I'm trying to bring in what I'm actually feeling and seeing. So it's not necessarily to capture it as a photographic image, but to be able to put a little bit of myself into it. And I think if you're standing in the location as opposed to looking at a photograph, you're just one step closer to it. It's just, it's a wonderful feeling.
And to learn more about that excursion experience, you can visit artsbarnstable.com. The town clerk's office announces the winner of this year's Barnstable's Best Dog Contest. Centerville resident William Murdoch can now claim that he has Barnstable's best dog. Murdoch's 7-year-old English Springer Spaniel Romeo took the top spot. As his prize, Romeo will get the very first dog tag for the year. If you haven't yet registered your dog, you can do so in the town clerk's office. Up next, we're going to chat with Chief of Police Paul McDonald. joining me now live over the phone, Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Chief, very exciting news. Attorney General Maura Healey is coming to town. She has a very specific purpose. She's going to stop by Centerville Elementary today. Why is that happening?
Well, she was in a process, and apparently she came to settlement with CVS and the Walgreens pharmacy, and they were able to get an award of $700,000 for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to fund prevention within the public schools throughout the state. And she's coming down to Centerville Elementary School. She's going to make that award to the Barnstable school system. I do not know exactly how much, but this is a huge step in the right direction. You know, we've already said that so much money is being spent for intervention and recovery, and this money is specifically going to be earmarked for the prevention and education, and it's going to start in the school system, which I think is a great idea. That's definitely a step in the right direction, is what we have to be doing.
So important to spread that message early to as many children as possible. And are other elementaries in the state getting some of this funding as well?
I do not know what the distribution is. The $7,000 is going to be throughout the entire state, so I do not know how much each school system is going to get. But I knew that the Barnstable is receiving their award today. And basically, Maura Healey, she wants to target the middle grade. She believes the middle school and middle grade children, that it would be the appropriate age to start addressing this and going after the prevention and the education.
Very important, and of course we've
Absolutely.
seen our youth commission working towards that goal as well, so great to see that happening here.
That's on all of our minds. That's the number one problem that the entire state's facing.
Absolutely. I want to talk to you too. I know technology changes happen all of the time. I mean, by the time you update your technology, it's already out of date.
Right.
You actually have to deal with this, so when it comes to 911 systems, and a big upgrade is coming.
The 911 system that we currently have at our facility was installed back in the early to mid-90s, and we are the primary public safety answering point for the town of Barnstable. All 911 calls come into our facility, police, fire, and rescue, and then if they have to go to different fire departments, then we transfer them to the appropriate fire department. In the beginning, when this first happened, 75-80% of all of those 911 calls came in through landlines. Now it's kind of flip-flop where most of our 911 calls are coming in through cell phones. And right now, our facility is not equipped to handle cell phones. Cell phone 911 calls are rerouted through the Middleborough State Police Barracks. They take the call and they retransfer the call down to us. The next generation 911 equipment is coming in this coming Monday. It's going to be installed. The system will be shut down for a couple of hours, which means all our 911 calls will go to our backup server, which is the Barnstable County Sheriff's Department. By the end of the day, we will have the new system in place. It's a huge upgrade because when it's finally up and running completely, we should be able to handle our own cell 911 calls. And a huge benefit to this is if individuals, for whatever reason, hearing impaired or whatever, they don't have access to a telephone, they will be able to text emergency 911 calls directly into the PD. So this is a huge difference. And also the tracking device. Right now, if we receive a 911 cell phone, we can pretty much get the location of that cell phone within maybe 20 to 30 yards. The new tracking system, the GPS systems that's going to be attached to the system is going to be far more accurate. We should be able to pretty much narrow it down to a couple of feet where the individual is calling from. So this is going to be a huge upgrade, and that will be coming on this coming Monday.
Yeah, that's got to make things a little bit easier for police department staff for sure. And really a great feature. How cool is it that individuals who may be in trouble will be able to quietly text the police department?
Absolutely. That's one of the big selling points. You have someone's there, someone's breaking into the house, if they're hiding, if they're involved in domestic and they can't get to the phone, they don't want anybody to talk. They can simply just text a 911 call to us, which is instrumental. And the other big thing is cutting down the number of transfers. If you're calling 911, it's obviously an emergency, or you think that is the emergency. So getting help there is paramount. And the more transfers you have, the slower the response is going to be. So if you have a cell 911, it first goes to State Police Barracks up in Middleborough, and they do a great job. But the way the system was designed, it has to go to them first, and then they transfer it to one of the other police departments within Southeast Massachusetts. That takes time. And then if it's a medical emergency, once it comes to us, then we have to transfer it again. So you're talking up to 3 transfers, and how much time is lost in those transfers. So this new system is all 911 calls will come directly to us eventually, and then we will make the immediate transfers and get the help out there as quickly as possible.
Wonderful news. Chief, I want to ask you one last question.
Yes.
What is the cost related to a new upgrade like this?
New upgrades, there is no cost to town of Barnstable. There is a surcharge on your phone bill that everybody pays for it, and I believe it's 25 cents per phone bill that goes directly into the 911 system.
Wonderful.
And that's how that's paid. That's how that's paid for. The users basically they pay for it. If you have a telephone or a cell phone, you're paying a minimal charge. I believe it's 25 cents per bill, and that money is accumulated over the years, and then they reinvest the money in the upgrades of this equipment.
Wonderful. Glad to hear that's not going to tax the police department too much.
Yep, nothing on us.
Very excited and worth every penny for us.
Absolutely, it's a huge improvement, and Barnstable, we are the public safety answering point for us. We don't do a regional dispatch, so all the calls come directly into Barnstable PD.
Great, Chief. Thanks so much for joining us today. Look forward to chatting with you again next week, and hope that your week is nice and peaceful.
I hope so too. I'll talk to you.
All right, talk to you next week, Chief.
Right, bye-bye.
Our guest today, Chief of Police Paul McDonald. Up next, we're going to get some grill safety tips with CALM Fire Chief Mike Wynn. So, Chief, thanks for joining me today.
Sure.
Very excited that we're finally here in springtime.
Yes, ma'am.
That means we're going to be pulling out our grills, maybe getting back outdoors. What should we be thinking about before we head outside to use the grill this season?
Great question. Thanks for coming, by the way, and thanks for coming to CALM Fire. I think it's important for folks to remember that when you're grilling to keep safety at the front of your mind. Grills can be very convenient for cooking, and they're fast, they're quick, they produce a lot of heat, but there's some dangers that go with grilling outdoors. Specifically, we always advocate that folks keep the grills off of any decks or patios if possible. You can use them if it's a first floor deck or patio and there's an exterior stair, but we really recommend you use them off of a deck because that keeps them away from the home. We also recommend that you keep the grill 10 feet from railings or eaves of your house or a garage or an outbuilding, and then also tree limbs overhead. Grills should always be started with the lid open, never with the lid closed. And if you ever smell gas prior to the ignition of your grill and you think you have a leak, you should search that out before you continue with your cooking.
Well, really important things I don't think I had thought about before.
Sure.
I think I see so many grills on the back deck.
There's a lot of grills on the
Right?
back deck, and by code that's allowable. They can be on a ground floor or ground level deck or patio as long as there's an exterior stair that gets you off of there another way away from that grill. But what I see is when you put them on your deck, it makes them closer to your house because most decks are connected to a home, and then you run the risk of having that grill have a problem with the house. So
Yeah, and we know how quickly fire can spread.
very, very quickly, super, super fast. And a grill was a great ignition source for a fire next to a house.
Great. So check that connection. If you smell any gas, make sure you don't have a leak.
Sure.
Start the grill with the grill cover open
Always.
and keep it away from the house, and make sure you don't have any awnings over top.
Sure,
Really
exactly. We even recommend if you don't grill year round, like at my house, we grill year round, and we'll shuffle outside with a winter coat and boots on if it's snowing. But if you don't use your grill year round and you're firing it up for the first time of the season, you can check for leaks very simply by just spraying a soapy water, kind of a concentration mix on the plumbing that goes with your grill, and see if there's any leaks before you ignite it. And that works really well in identifying
Now,
leaks.
how would that identify a leak?
It would make a bubble.
Really?
Yes, it would make a bubble. As soon as you turn the gas on, if there was a leak, the soapy water would bubble up in the vicinity of the leak.
Interesting.
Yeah, it works very well.
Wow.
Yep. So if it's been in storage and you haven't used it for a while and you're connecting it to your LP gas container, that's a good way to check for leaks. It's just soapy water on all of the plumbing that goes with the gas.
Wonderful. Not to put you on the spot, but
Sure.
also people are heading back outdoors. They're getting outside. They're heading to the beach.
Yeah.
Anything they need to think of as far as safety when it comes to water?
Sure. I would always try and use the recreational facilities that the town has here with the lifeguards. Patty at the Lifeguard Services, they do an outstanding job in providing safe areas for folks to swim. Always pay attention to the signs that they put up stating the weather conditions and the tide. Always listen to the instructions given by lifeguards if you're on a supervised beach. And if you have small children, always keep an eye on your children. That's really the best way to be safe when you're on the water. Pools at home, make sure your gates are locked if you have a gate around your pool or a fence around your pool, so children can't get near your pool. And if you have the ladders, you're supposed to take the ladders out of the pool when you're not using it on an above ground pool. So.
Interesting. Great. Lots of things that we
Yeah.
need to keep in mind as we head into the summer season.
Definitely.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much
anytime.
for talking about grill safety as well as water safety. We really appreciate it, and
Sure.
we hope to come back in the near
Anytime.
future.
Yeah, anytime. I really appreciate it. Anytime.
Great chatting.
Yep. Thank you.
Our guest today, of course, Chief Mike Wynn from CALM Fire.
Thank you.
Joining me now live on the phone, DPW Director Dan Santos. Dan, it is springtime, and that means it's a busy time for the Department of Public Works. What kind of projects are happening right now?
Oh, it is very busy. I mean, we have the normal yearly projects where we're trying to get the town ready for the summer and the onslaught of visitors and all the fun activities we do. So we spend a lot of time working in the bathhouses, getting those ready, and we have a number of those. And we've had a big project over at the Craigville bathhouse where we totally remodeled the bathhouse with new bathrooms and new flooring and paint and
I can't wait to see
the
that.
exterior.
Is it done?
And we're
Is it
wrapping
finished?
that up. It's almost done, and we're actually doing some septic work there in the next month or so. We have obviously our spring road projects going on. We just the end of last week repaved Bierce's Way.
And boy, is that nice, Dan.
Yeah, that was pretty bumpy there. And the reason that was the community college connected their campus to our wastewater treatment plant, so they had to dig up that road in the fall. And we like to let the trench settle. So over the winter that settled, and we just finished that paving, and they're going to be striping that here pretty soon. We're just finishing up projects at the Bay Street boat ramp in Osterville, where we put a new boat ramp in, a new parking area with what's called a pervious concrete. In other words, the rain can go through the concrete. It doesn't run off. It's kind of interesting. It's a way to deal with storm water, not have runoff into the bay.
Yeah, very important in our region.
And we're just finishing that up. We also are finishing up a big project at Prince Cove Marina where we put a new bulkhead in, and that's the structure that is right at the water's edge. It holds the water back right at the end of the parking lot, and we needed to get that done so they could get the docks in there and start using that, because they start using that May 1st. And for our water projects, West Main Street is, as I'm sure you've seen if you've driven down there, there's a lot of activity where we're doing a cleaning and lining of the water mains in West Main.
Now, how often does the cleaning and lining of water mains have to happen?
Oh, it doesn't happen very often. Decades. This will last for many decades before it has to be done again or they replace them.
And how long does it take to get that complete?
Well, we work on it while we can. We don't work in the summer, so we'll do a certain number of feet or miles in the spring, and then we'll pick it up in the fall. And so we always have some project going on. We have over 100 miles of water mains, so we're always having to replace them or clean them, and cleaning and lining. So it's an ongoing process.
Wow, the work never stops, Dan.
Yeah, we just opened bids for the dog park.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, and the bids, so we had a low bid that did come in within our budget, and the majority of this money is coming from a foundation grant, so this is great, and we're going to be getting that underway soon. At the senior center, we're building a new handicap access ramp to the front of the building. The current one doesn't fully comply, so we just opened bids on that. And we're also underway at Joshua's Pond in Osterville for new parking area and drainage to kind of organize that. Basically, there's people parking on the grass before, and so that's underway. And we're also looking for bids on the new set of shanties that are going to be just outside to the east of Town Hall in part of the walkway there.
Wow, can't wait to see that complete too. That's very exciting. Now you're looking for bids on that, so that seems like it might not be ready until next summer. Is that something?
No, we're going to. It's pretty straightforward. We did go out to bid once, and the bids came in too high, so we did some modifications, and we should have those constructed in June, ready for 4th of July. That's our plan right now.
Wow, can't wait to see that. So many things happening, Dan, around town. Thank you so much for letting us know everything that's happening, and maybe now more people understand what's happening on West Main Street and why there's a little bit of traffic.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, talk to you soon, Dan.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
And now we have a special treat for you. We're going to take a visit to the Osterville Village Library. So Cindy, so good to see you here today. We are standing in the new entrepreneur section, the new business center here at the Osterville Village Library. What made you want to create the space for business folks?
Oh. Well, walking through the library and talking with our patrons, there were so many people working out of the library, and we wanted to support their needs here. So it seemed like the perfect room and opportunity. This was the community room, named for Mrs. McGraw, and it kind of outgrew its space. So we moved that out into the atrium, and we reconfigured this room to make it suitable for people to come in and work.
Let's talk about some of the features here in the business center, because there are a lot of features that people will really find great use for. So we have
we have
shredder.
Yep, we have a shredder, a HIPAA 3 level shredder. It's $1 a minute, and it does 25 pages at a time. It's great. You can see your stuff being shredded. You can do CDs, DVDs, paper clips, staples, and it's great. The motor doesn't burn out like the one at home after like 3 sheets of paper go in, and it doesn't get jammed easily. And it's a great asset for people and for, you know, patrons of the library.
And then, of course, if they need to make copies or they need to print something, there is a printer here, which is fabulous. I mean, these are resources you would find at a facility where you would pay for membership. And you're really trying to make this free for so many people in our community.
Yes. We have, you do have to pay for the copies, but they're very inexpensive. It's like 25 cents for color, 10 cents for black and white. And we can do large format up to 11 by 17, which is nice, and you can use different stock papers. The machine, besides doing color and black and white copies, it is a fax machine, and it also scans to email and scans to USB for anybody with documents or things like that that they need to do.
Wow. So cool. And then, of course, you have publications for business members. You have the Wall Street Journal, other publications for business. So they really, so many references and things that they can use here. Of course, Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi throughout. We also have Mac and Apple computers through the building. We have magazines, too, like Harvard Business Review, Wired, Forbes, Money Magazine. We've got business journals. As you mentioned, the newspapers. We, always have reference people on staff that can help with any computer questions or issues. And, these tables are sit to stand, so you can move them to collate projects. It's really limitless of what somebody can create or develop in here.
Wow, really, really cool. And of course, you said people can make use of the other spaces in the library as well. So really cool changes that you have here. Very excited to see those. You also have a brand new art exhibit upstairs, which we want to talk about. What is this art exhibit you have?
Well, we are thrilled. This was at the Cape Cod Maritime Museum, and it's called The Lore of the Lore. And it's Dr. Dunn's private collection of 19th and 20th century marine art. And they are the most exquisite pictures, artwork, and they all tell a story. And he is great at telling that story along with it. We're going to have him here on 2 occasions speaking about the exhibit. But the exhibit will be here through the 1st of October.
Oh, wow, wonderful. So everyone has plenty of time to take a peek at that art exhibit. I want to talk to you, too, about another idea you guys are working on. We've seen little free libraries pop up across the Cape. Seen a couple in Hyannis, one in Barnstable Village, and one in Katuitt. You're actually hoping to get one approved for Dowses Beach, which is very exciting. You got that approved from the Rec Commission?
Yes, we did. We're thrilled, and we're going into the next steps to get this done, and we're kind of going to work with the older kids as a STEM project to see how the house gets built. We're building it ourselves, and so kids can see how the project is done, and then hopefully we'll have one at Dowses, and then we'll try for Joshua's.
Yeah, really cool. And what a great place if you're at a beach. You're in need of some reading material. There you go. The Little Free Library is the place to find it. What made you want to do that?
Well, I mean, we just want to help everybody, have access to books. And the libraries, I mean, the beach is a perfect place. I don't want to bring a several $100 Kindle or iPad and worry about it getting wet or rain or sand in it. And, books are traditional, what you do at the beach in the summertime.
That's right. That's right. Enjoy it. Well, anything else you want to share with us about happenings at the library before we wrap up?
Well, we're thrilled. Our 135th anniversary is coming up. We're having the book and the video on July 13th. We have our annual clam bake, mutts and martinis, because we're the only dog-friendly library around. We have lots of wonderful things going on, and we always love to hear what you want. So come see us.
Wonderful. And then I did see the sign as I entered the library that says we are a dog-friendly library. What should people know about bringing their dogs to the library? Are there any rules or regulations that they should be aware of?
Dogs need to be well behaved, and they need to make sure they stop by the circulation desk and get a treat.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you so much, Cindy. We really appreciate it. My guest today, of course, Cindy Cotton. She's the executive director here at the Osterville Village Library. Now let's find out what's happening around town in today's community calendar. It's time to get that fancy hat out of the closet. The Cotuit Center for the Arts is hosting a Kentucky Derby party this Saturday, May 6th. The event will include a hat parade and contest, as well as a photo op with horses, heavy hors d'oeuvres, and mint juleps, of course. Tickets are $20 to attend. You can visit artsonthecape.org to learn more and to purchase tickets online. This Sunday, cyclists will be hopping on their bikes to raise money for the Barnstable Land Trust. The Tour de Barnstable is a unique 38-mile bike ride through all 7 villages here in the town of Barnstable. There is also a shorter 10-mile bike ride available. Riders of all skill levels are welcome to join in. For the registration fee ranges from $45 to $60. You can register at bikereg.com/Tour de Barnstable. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to be back tomorrow with another great show for you. Tomorrow we will chat with Greater Hyannis Civic Association, Greater Hyannis Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Jessica Silver. We'll also hear from Finance Director Mark Milne and so much more. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mann.